VSF News. With your host, Richard Rempel. This is Vintage SF Channel News for Monday, May 5th, 2025. In this episode, we'll talk about the Children's Hospital book market, which I just completed a couple weekends ago, and also some books that I picked up there. We'll also talk about the next book sale that's coming up. Then we'll look at some of my latest collaborations and collaborations to come in the future. So let's get started. I volunteered recently at the Children's Hospital book market in the vintage SF and fantasy area. This was the weekend of April 25th to 27th, 2025. The table I was working on was vintage SF and fantasy, along with anthologies, magazines, and series. And now, let's take a look at what was left over. The leftover shots are from Sunday, just a couple of hours before the end of the sale. I'm estimating that about 85 to 90% of the books sold. Money raised for the sale, of course, went to Winnipeg's Children's Hospital, and there was $352,482 raised that weekend. Thank you, Winnipeg. And for those who are fans of science fiction and fantasy and horror, there is another sale coming up in October. Saturday, October 18th, there will be a pop-up sale, a one-day book sale of science fiction, fantasy, and horror in the St. Vital Center. So if you happen to be in the Winnipeg area, come out and support your Children's Hospital and find some great used books. Now, at the end of the sale, I found some books that I decided to rescue. These are books that I picked up on Sunday afternoon after my shift. So you could say these were leftovers. Let's take a look at what I found. One of my great reads from the last year was The Long Tomorrow by Lee Brackett, and I found several Lee Brackett books. The Ginger Star. This is number 1. Let's take a look at what the series is. I'll just read from the back. Lee Brackett joins Ballantines' science fiction list with The Ginger Star, the first novel in a series of adventures that will bring back Eric John Stark, Brackett's most famous character and one of the great swashbuckling heroes in adventure fiction. So, this one says number 1. Here's number 2, The Hounds of Skaith. And number 3, The Reavers of Skaith. So all 3 for $3. On the shelf behind me, you'll see a couple of encyclopedias of science fiction. One of them is edited by David Pringle. And I found this book, Science Fiction, The 100 Best Novels by David Pringle. This is novels between the years 1949 and 1984. I have quite a few of the novels listed in here, and I've reviewed some of them, and there are some reviews coming up. I will talk about this book in the future. And if you're curious, that one was $2. Next, James Tiptree Jr., The Starry Rift. One of the things that I like about this hardcover book is this is James Tiptree Jr. Alice Sheldon is her real name. Someday I want to talk a little bit about Alice Sheldon when I'm reading one of her books. That one, $2 as well. Next, we have a trade paperback size book, Arthur C. Clarke, The Sentinel. This is a collection of short stories with some illustrations inside. Here's an example of one of the illustrations. This one is for the story A Meeting with Medusa. And the price, $2. And the last one, a hardcover book. This is a Canadian author, and I haven't read any of his work yet, but I've started to pick up a few. Carl Schrader's Stealing Worlds. I believe the copyright on this is 2019, so this is quite a new book. I was amazed to find it here. Yes, 2019. Price on this one, the most expensive one, $6. So my total for rescuing these books, $15. Just a reminder again, if you're in the Winnipeg area, October 18th, come on down to the St. Vital Center for the pop-up book sale for science fiction, fantasy, and horror. You'll see me there. In other news, let's talk about my collaborations within the last month. In the description for this video, you'll find links to all the videos that I mentioned today, as well as links to the channels of the people I collaborate with. I read Fiasco by Stanislaw Lem this last month, and I invited Bart of Bart's Bookspace to come and talk about it with me. Lem is from Poland, and so is Bart, and he provides some very interesting background information, including a personal story. I had an invitation from Gareth of Books, Songs, and Other Magic to join him for Desert Island Flicks. He asked me to pick 10 movies that I could rewatch over and over again if I was on a desert island. These aren't necessarily the pictures that I think are the best pictures, but they're the ones that I feel are the most rewatchable. In a recent review of Sam J. Lundwall's 1971 book, Science Fiction, What It's All About, in it, there was a bit of a critical review of the new wave. So I asked Steve of Outlaw Bookseller to join me to have an editorial regarding that view. It's become quite a popular video. My third collaboration with a booktuber from the UK was with Jules Burt. He started a series called In Conversation, where he chats with people he watches on YouTube. I was honored to be his inaugural guest. Jules and I talked about how we came to science fiction and collecting of books. My wife thought this was a great episode. Thank you, Jules. And just last week I returned to North America and chatted with Jonathan of Words in Time. Although he's living in LA, he participated with me in a video about SF authors, the USA versus the world. This conversation was a lot of fun as we put together a Writers' Cup competition of SF authors. We each named 5 to our team. All my collaborations over the last month have been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to a couple more this week. On the day this episode comes out, I'll be recording an episode with Chris from Liminal Spaces and Steve, the Outlaw Bookseller. We're going to be talking about Christopher Priest's first novel, Indoctrinaire. On my channel, you'll have a spoiler-free review of the novel. On Chris's channel, you'll have a deep dive into the novel. This will have spoilers, but it's going to develop the themes and ideas, and we'll have a discussion about them. And on Steve's channel, we're going to be moving on from Indoctrinaire and talking about the following question. Did SF affect the counterculture, or did the counterculture affect SF? I'm really looking forward to this conversation with Chris and Steve. One more collaboration to talk about, and this one is a live collaboration. On Tuesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be chatting with Virgil of Literally Books and Chris again of Liminal Spaces. They have sort of an open mic night where we just chat about whatever comes up organically in conversation. They call it Literally Liminal, a combination of their channel names. So if you're available on Tuesday, why don't you drop by and ask us some questions and join in the conversation. In the next couple of weeks, there will be some book reviews, and I'm going on a road trip, so you can expect that I will stop in some used bookstores in Western Canada. And that's the news. Until next time, keep reading.